All right, we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming this evening. We've got a packed house, and that's a good thing because it's a good representative of, first of all, our kids and their enjoyment of this season, whether it be in cheer or inroads or football, but also the support that they have of their parents. So welcome this evening. This is actually installment number 2 of the Fall Sports Banquet. Last week we had volleyball, cross country, and girls golf. So we're here tonight to celebrate the individual and team accomplishments of cheer, inroads, and football. I'm not going to do a lot of talking tonight. I'm going to leave that to the coaches. I'm actually going to call at this time Genevieve up to do our invocation, and then we're going to eat. So Genevieve, come on up.
In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Lord, for blessing all of us here tonight. Thank you for keeping all of these athletes safe throughout the season as we now reflect on how it went. Lord, we are thankful for the guidance and support given to us by the coaches that pushed us to be our best. We are thankful for our parents and supporters who were there throughout the season. Lord, thank you for the food we're about to eat prepared by great cooks. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, great job, Kennedy. Thank you very much. Okay, the head table will eat first. After the head table goes, this was randomly selected. Table 2 will go first. Table 4 will go next. And table 1 will go first. That's your last time. All right, get this one up. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, guys, I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking. I'm going to let the coaches do that. But I did want to thank just a few people before I turn it over to them, and actually before I introduce them. I want to take just a minute to thank our administration here, and I don't mean just at the high school level, I mean all the way from elementary through district office. If you've never noticed before, at a Friday night football game, a lot of places only have maybe 1, 2, or 3 administrators. There's times when we have all of our administrators from elementary all the way through district office. So I thank them for helping out. They do a tremendous job helping run football games at home. And then, of course, some that go to the away ones as well. Custodians. Our custodians do a great job. Cleaning up after thousands of people on a Friday night is not fun, but they do a really good job. We have great facilities here that we're very proud of, and they do a good job of keeping those clean for us. And then our maintenance department, same thing. We have fantastic facilities, and a lot of that is because our maintenance department works so hard to maintain those and keep them in good shape, and we're very happy and thankful to them. Now an introduction of our coaches. Starting to my far left, we've got our one and only Emeralds coach, and that is Jennifer Kirchner. To my right is our cheer duo, head coach Laura Geck and assistant coach Lauren Fowler. Also on this side of the table is a couple of our assistant coaches, including our defensive coordinator Tyson Roth and assistant coach Cody Schwent. All right, we've got head coach and offensive coordinator Jay Pope and Kellen Bosler. And 3 more assistant coaches, Adam Schwent, Blake Moore, and Kitty Brown. Sorry about that, Adam. All right, so like I said, I'm going to turn it over to these coaches at this time. Cheer is going to go first. So hopefully they're ready to go, because ready or not, it's time.
Great. Good evening.
Thank you guys for being here. Wanted to send a few thank yous out to the cheer parents. Probably the first year that we've had 80% of the parents travel to all the games, even though some of them were upwards of 2 hours away. So thank you, parents. Dr. Hicks, all my crazy ideas and some last minute changes he would get from me on Fridays. The sports boosters, reached out to them this year. As everyone here knows, we cheered a lot in the rain this year, and we were drenched. The sports boosters went out of their way and got the cheerleaders some raincoats. You're welcome, because it never rained again. So, we did not get to wear them. Coach Fowler, she stuck by my side all season, did kind of anything I needed her to. Between her family and my family, we spent a lot of time away from them, so thank you to them. And our big sports fundraiser for our season is we do our Friday night throw-out shirts, and we had a fantastic turnout this year with all the communities sponsoring our shirts, so thank you to them too. Cheer season doesn't really go about wins and losses as any other sport does. It's a very long season. These girls try out in about February, and our season starts then. It doesn't end until football ends here in the mid-November. So it's a very long season. We started with 12 girls, ended with 12 girls. That's a huge accomplishment. It doesn't always happen that way. So thanks, girls, for sticking it out all season. We had a lot of crazy firsts this year, going to a game where there was absolutely nowhere for us to cheer at all. So we were in the bleachers with the fans, and they made the best of it. Cheering in a hurricane, that was fun. 2.5-hour rain delays, so still cheering at midnight, that's fun. So yeah, getting to cheer at Crothersville right on the field with the players, up close and personal. The girls found that quite entertaining. So had a lot of crazy firsts, but had some absolutely fun experiences. Hopefully the girls will remember a lot of these. We spend a lot of time traveling. We don't always take a bus, so when we do, it's loud, full of music, speakers, some interesting highway sightings along the way. Girls meeting boys on the interstate as they're yelling at us, trying to get us to race down the interstate. Those are fun times. To trying to get us kicked out of Target for throwing stunts in the middle of Target. So there's a lot of things that don't come with cheer outside of just Friday nights. And that's what makes it fun, and I hope they have those memories to live by. The girls are always eager to learn new stunts. With this comes a lot of frustration, tears, and yet they don't give up. They just keep trying new things all the way up to last week. They're still trying new things. This season, I will say, has been the most versatile group of girls. Not many know a whole lot about cheer, but the biggest majority of what we do is we spend our time learning new stunts and tossing girls and trying to do that in a safe way. And a lot of times when you're in a position, just like football, if you're the quarterback, you're the quarterback. If you're the flyer, you're the flyer. These girls proved that to be absolutely wrong. At times we did not know who was going in the air and who was going to hold them in the air and what was going to happen. We had girls who have never let their feet come off the air, and by the end of the season they were flying in the air. So very versatile, and kind of proved the fact that when you use good technique, anybody can do anything. So lots of fun ways to try to use that flexibility to our advantages. When we had to overcome some obstacles, when we're missing girls on the sidelines due to illnesses, injuries, homecoming court. So them being versatile helped us continue to be able to give the crowd a good show. Camp and homecoming are the big events for our fall cheer team. Homecoming is a huge week for these girls. They spend a lot of time preparing for, that's kind of their time to shine. Starting with a Friday night lock-in, they're here all night decorating. Usually there's 1 to 2 games they're at during that week, along with Spirit Night. On to Homecoming Friday, where they're performing 3 different assemblies, a parade, the game. So it's a long, daunting week, and they did a very well job with that. And then being able to work with the Emeralds has been great this year. The Spirit crowd, fantastic. I hope that continues. So lots of compliments and good things from the girls. We don't have, like I said, stats, but we did go to camp this summer, and we have a lot of highlights from there. That's kind of our time to earn any awards or distinctions for these girls. So we go to camp to learn who cheers, chants, all the things that we bring back to perform for everyone. It is a long 4 days, living in the dorm, starting at 6 a.m. and ending sometimes at 10 p.m. So it's long days. By the end of it, they do not like each other or me, but we make it through. Our team this year as a team was a Spirit Stick recipient each night. They have to do that or they lose their phones at night, so good job, girls. Kind of a little incentive, but we did walk away with 3 superior ribbons in our chant, cheer, and band chant. Some individual accomplishments there. For the first time in Sanctum history, our entire team was nominated for the All-American team. That's a huge with that being said, there's about 350 athletes that go to camp and about 150 chosen to get the opportunity to try out for that. Some girls will not do it, they will scratch and say I'm not doing it, but all of the girls that attended camp this year got out there and tried out. It's nerve-wracking, it's individual, you're on the mat at SEMO in front of every athlete at camp, all the parents that show up, just one person at a time watching you. So very nerve-wracking, but builds a lot of character for them, being able to do a cheer and a series of jumps and demonstrate excellence and crowd involvement. It's hard, it's daunting, but they all withstand that. We do have 2 girls that I'd like to recognize who actually made that American team. Lana Gagg and Savannah were selected to represent the NCAA All-American team. This is the first time in all the years that I've coached ever to have 2 athletes make that team. Actually, in all the years, I only had 1 other athlete completely ever make that team. They were 2 of 24 athletes that scored well enough to be invited to be on that team. So, congrats, girls. I'm going to go ahead and bring up our girls. We have all of them lettered this year. It's not about, they're at every game, they're going to be there. It isn't playing time for them. These girls have to follow a discipline manager handbook and to be able to determine if they letter. They've all done a very nice job. They're at the games, they're at practice, they're putting forth their best efforts. So I'm going to bring them up one at a time, and then you guys can come up and get your letter, and you guys can line up. We have Hannah Ahrens for her 4th year varsity lettering. Savannah DeRouche, also her 4th year varsity lettering. Ruthie Dunn, 4 years lettering. Haley Wheeler, 2 years varsity lettering. Emily America, 2 years varsity lettering. Kennedy Bowen, 2 years varsity lettering. Lana Gagg, 2 years varsity. Kirsten Reeves, 1st year for ball, but she did cheer last year. Ellen Warren, 2nd year varsity. And our 3 freshmen who are all 1st year, we have Sydney DeRouche, Maria McGuire, is your Friday night cheer crew for the fall. Say up here, girls, we have a few awards that we'd like to give these girls. Once again, it's hard to determine who is deserving of certain awards because all of them put forth the effort, and we don't have stats to determine who's doing what. It's kind of a look and see what you got. But we want to recognize Miss Savannah DeRouche for outstanding jumps for the fall season. A lot of what we do is cheer on the sidelines, and with that comes being sharp and making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be. We have a motion technique award going out to Hannah Ahrens. The next award goes out to one of my athletes who was pretty well stepped in wherever was needed. She didn't get to start the year with us at camp, but has really shined. We'd like to present Rookie of the Year to Isla Wolf. We have a Miss Spirit Award going out to an athlete who always comes to practice, showing a lot of spirit and just kind of keeping people looking up and looking on the bright side. Always just, you don't know what's coming out of her mouth. But, so, Miss Kennedy Bowen. And then we have two more awards. We have our Miss Cheerleader Award. This is kind of a award that goes to an athlete that demonstrates just high quality in all the aspects of cheerleading. A lot of times you guys see them cheering on the sidelines between just doing cheers and dances and stunting and tumbling and jumping. So looking for a cheerleader who demonstrates excellence all around, we'd like to represent Miss Monica with Miss Cheerleader. And our last award goes out to an athlete who has shown great leadership, just being able to keep the team in line and always who, if something's going on, people are like, what are we doing? Who's doing that? Somebody tell us what to do. An athlete that will be missed, Miss Ruthie Dunn. Thank you, girls. Thank you guys for always.
All right, first of all, let's quit the clapping stuff, okay? It got old real fast.
All right, I'm going to do just a couple more thank yous before we turn this over to Emeralds. Wanted to thank our booster officers who volunteer a lot of their time, and they do it absolutely on a volunteer basis, but they do it a lot behind the scenes. You guys don't see them setting up the concessions. You don't see them at the meetings that we have. You don't see them doing a lot of the stuff that they do. And again, they're just doing it out of the kindness of their heart. So I wanted to take just a second to recognize those 5 booster officers: Rob Coleman, Mackenzie Beckham, Amanda Bly, Deanne Squires, and Amanda Fritz. Nice round of applause for them, please. Okay, I also wanted to take just a second to thank Jordan Mueller. This meal that we had this evening, the fried chicken and cookies, came from Country Mart, and those were delicious, but our kitchen staff, led by Jordan Mueller, they prepared the rest of the meal and also served that chicken and cookies to us, and they did a wonderful job. So thank you to Jordan and her crew. All right. And then we have, right before the Emeralds coach comes up here, just a quick mention about our cheerleaders in Emeralds. You know, they don't have the touchdowns and the stats and all of those things that they can hang their hat on, so to speak. They don't have starting positions and all that stuff. They come to the games. They support our football players and our football team. And they do a really good job with their halftime performances and during the game and so forth. So very thankful to our cheer and Emeralds programs. They do a tremendous job supporting our football program and other sports as well. So great job, cheer. And now it's time for Coach Kirchner to come on up and do the Emeralds.
Last spring, I decided to take up being the coach of the Emeralds so that 6 amazing dancers could still dance even though I had no idea what I was doing. These girls have taught me a lot about hard work, being a team, and having fun. We spent the summer learning 4 new routines, 3 of which the girls choreographed themselves. During the summer practices, Addison Haney joined us as a volunteer coach, and she's been a valuable asset to us. She does a great job of helping the girls clean up their routines. She also worked with Olivia to choreograph our homecoming routine. The Emeralds performed at 5 home football games. They performed once with drenched uniforms and jazz shoes, and then once with absolutely no music. Through it all, they remained positive and just did what they loved while consuming lots of Rice Krispie treats. I had a snack bin at every home game, and I never imagined how many snacks 6 teenage girls would eat, especially if they're sitting in a room during a 2.5-hour lightning delay with nothing to entertain themselves. I also need to mention the fight that broke out when it was discovered that Olivia had eaten the only cosmic brownie in the snack bin. Those are Kyra's favorites, but I genuinely think that was the only argument that I saw this season. During the season, we had a Little Gems dance camp where 109 elementary age students came after school to learn a dance routine that they performed for a Friday night game. The Emeralds did a great job teaching and corralling the children, even though they were extremely outnumbered. The girls and I had a blast during the festivities on Homecoming Friday, even though we were down 2 dancers that were unfortunate. They did an amazing job dancing at all the assemblies and walking in their uncomfortable boots during most of the parade route. It's a good thing we had a convertible that they could jump into for the big hill going back up towards school. I would like to thank the Emeralds parents for supporting their dancers and volunteering when needed for the Little Gems activities and then working at concession stands. I would also like to thank Dr. Nick, who answered my millions of questions since I, once again, had no idea what I was doing. I would most of all like to thank the cheerleaders and everyone in the stands that supported our Emeralds during our halftime performances. I'm looking forward to our winter season where we will perform at basketball games and compete at 3 competitions. I'm going to have the Emeralds come on up here so that I can introduce them one at a time. Come on, girls. First, we have our 2 seniors. Sophie Vogt is an incredible dancer and teacher. She's amazing with turns, jumps, and leaps. Sophie did an outstanding job teaching the Little Gems their dance routine. The other Emeralds sometimes look to Sophie for help if they aren't getting a piece of a dance routine. I envision Sophie going to college for dance and pursuing it as her career. The next senior is Kristen Woodtube. Kristen brings a lot of joy and positivity to the dance team. She is very supportive of everyone and works very hard as a dancer. I've gotten to know Kristen very well through her friendship with Olivia, and I love her positive outlook on life. I love the energy and spirit that she brings to the team when she dances. I'm excited that she will continue to dance in college. Kristen also loves it. The first junior is Olivia Kirchner. Olivia has become an amazing choreographer and has choreographed 2 of our dances this season. Olivia works very hard as a dancer and has come a long way since joining the team as a freshman. Olivia has worked hard on managing our team's social media accounts, along with taking some amazing photos of each dancer and at every football game. I hope that she will continue to choreograph dances for the team over the next year and a half of her high school career. The next junior is Kyra Kreidler. Kyra has worked very hard learning all the routines this year. She was unable to attend some of the summer practices due to taking a summer class, so she had to work extra hard to master all the routines that the other girls had already learned. Kyra has multiple tumbling skills that we use in our routines. I've noticed that Kyra has become a much more competent dancer as the season progresses. Can't wait to see everything that Kyra will accomplish as an Emerald in the winter season and during her senior year. Kyra also. Our one and only sophomore is Jersey Quinn. Jersey is a fantastic dancer that started the season off very quiet. I'm happy that I've been able to witness Jersey opening up and becoming good friends with all the other girls. She works very hard as a dancer and puts forth 100%. Jersey is willing to try any dance move that is asked of her. She's been a huge asset to our dance team. I can't wait to see what Jersey does during our winter season and then during her last 2 years of high school dance. Jersey also And our newest dancer is freshman Ava Zerber. Ava has a big personality and fits in perfectly with the other dancers. Ava dances so effortlessly, and I haven't seen any dance moves or tricks that she can't do. We rely a lot on Ava for her amazing tumbling and jumps. Ava is always very supportive of all of our dancers and is willing to help anyone that needs it. I am so glad that Ava tried out to be an Emerald this fall. I can't imagine the team without her. I am sure that she will continue to shine bright this winter and through the rest of her high school dance career. Congratulations to Ava for lettering for her first season at the team. I have 3 awards to give out to girls voted on each award. The first award that I'm giving out is our MVD award, Most Valuable Dancer. Sophie Vogt was voted our MVD. It is apparent that Sophie loves to dance and she's extremely talented. Sophie gives each dancer her all and always exhibits amazing patience. Her energy while dancing is contagious and makes the others want to go all out. Sophie has a lot on her plate with Emeralds, her own dance classes, and teaching dance, but she does it all in stride. I really enjoy watching Sophie dance and seeing all the expression and energy that she puts into it. Our second award is to our dance mom. Olivia Kirshner was voted our dance mom. Very hard to keep our team organized and brings a lot of talent to the Emerald. Olivia sends out a packing list before every event or homecoming. Olivia has choreographed 2 of our routines, along with learning others to help teach the rest of the girls. She makes sure to take lots of pictures of every dancer to be able to put them on our social media accounts that she manages. Olivia also makes sure that our videos of dances get put on our band app so that everyone can practice. And our third award is for best technique. The team voted that Ava Zerwig has the best technique. Her movement as she dances is fluid and looks effortless. Ava makes every jump, turn, and trick look easy as she performs it. We haven't found a dance skill that Ava cannot do yet. Ava has been an amazing asset when some of the other dancers have been working to perfect the skill. Ava always goes all out and gives 100% with each practice and performance. Ava also has a lot on her plate. She sometimes goes from our dance practice to Dance Express and practice her punch. I love the excellent technique and energy that Ava has brought to our dance.
All right, great job, Emeralds. All right, each of our football coaches are going to get up here and talk this evening, but we're going to start with our head coach, Jay Pope, and then after coach, we'll just go through the line until we're all finished. So Coach Pope, come on up, get started.
Tried dealing with that for like 30 weeks, man. All right, so like Coach Dr. Nick said, I'm going to do a little introduction and a few thank yous, and I'll turn it over to Coach Swint. He's going to talk about JV. I'll come back and recap kind of the varsity season, talk about our varsity letter winners, and then we like to highlight our seniors here. So we'll do that to wrap it up, and then we'll hand out awards and let you get home for Monday Night Football. So we got about 35 minutes, hopefully we can get it. So a lot of thank yous. I'm going to run through these. Dr. Nix and the other coaches have hit a bunch of them already. All sports boosters, sponsors, any donations, the summer booster program we do, that's massive. Football is a stupid expensive sport. A single helmet costs anywhere from $400 to over $1,000. It's a scam, and every dollar goes somewhere. So thank you for all the boosters, all sports donations, all that. Thanks to Dr. Nix. I bug him every single day about dumb stuff. Some stuff's not dumb, but it's important and I gotta do it. Thanks to the high school admin and district admin. Both those groups fight for these kids, not just football, but all our sports teams, all our students, every single day. And they rarely get enough credit for their work they do, because they've always got our students' best interests at heart. Coach Jess Fowler, she handles all our in-school injuries. She's our concussion guru. Somebody's got a headache, I just send her to her. I don't even know the kid. If it's a little kid walking down elementary, she's got a headache, I send her to Fowler. So she handles all that, so I don't get sued. Tyler Brown at Potential, man, he volunteers every single Friday. He makes every single trip. And this year he had a little token. He sells coffee on the side. During that Hurricane game, he made us a cup of coffee, and literally the only reason we were able to stay awake. Most of these guys are in bed by 8 o'clock, so having a gallon of coffee just really got us over it. All the media people, Mike Boyd at the Herald, Matt King, Daily Journal, Mr. Banks and the broadcasting crew does a fantastic job broadcasting our home games. Dr. Smith and his DLP crew do the video board, do a fantastic job in relation with Coach Ross' class, getting a ton of awesome graphics. Everything you see on the TVs tonight is either from Dr. Smith or Coach Ross, and it's fantastic the resources those crews have to highlight all our athletes. A lot of important people that help make Friday nights here at home possible. The game day operations people, Rabbit Tomier, all the chain crew guys, Bumstole, Rabbit and Bull. Rabbit Tomier, Bumstole, Randy and Bull Palmer, the Hogan Millers, Randy and Kellen. We even somehow managed to have the mayor work the chains for us one game, which was awesome. All the guys in the press box around the clock, Art Armbruster, Paul Aaron, Derek Schumer, our camera guy, Monk Kreitler. They all do a fantastic job. That group was actually acknowledged by the SEMO area for a distinguished service. Some of those guys have been doing that job for over 40 years, and they've really been fantastic models of what servant leadership is for our students. So anytime we get a chance to thank those people, we try to. The cheerleaders, want to give them a huge thanks. Coach mentioned the Caruthersville game. I don't know which one of you was. I remember one of our first touchdowns, super excited, turned around, there's one there, gave him a high five. So we're going the other direction on our next touchdown, did the same thing, turned around, gave a high five. Little did I know Caruthersville cheerleaders were on the other side of us, on our sideline, and it was really awkward, but also kind of fun. So thank you guys for always being right behind us, getting us fired up when we needed it. To the Emeralds, I'm a very superstitious person. Somehow we were able to go 5-0 when you guys did dance for us. So we're going to have to figure out how to guys to get a dance for all our road games next year. We got some tough road games. So we can figure that out after this. Let's get that figured out. Last few here, Mr. Mooney and the marching band, he's always got that brass warmed up for the fellas. Brad Paul got the brass warmed up for the next big play. Became a rallying cry for us all summer. Gotta warm them up, buddy. A big one that I lean on a lot, Miss Stoll, who shares a classroom with me, she's our unofficial director of football operations. It's a title that I completely made up, so she felt involved because I literally leave my classroom so much during the season to meet with Nicks and deal with issues. She's probably saved my job for the past 4 years multiple times. So thank you for her. Dr. Taylor, I swear I'm an okay teacher from November to May sometimes. But thank her. Beth Ferrano, and every single parent that helped with the Dragon Fuel this year. It takes so much off our plate and feed these kids, and not just feed them, but well fed. I usually lose about 40 pounds during football season, so those cupcakes this year really helped me keep it on. So appreciate all the work you and all the parents do there. All our managers, anybody that helps us on Fridays, mostly the middle school coaches, Chris Thompson, Justin Roth, Jared Bonnell, those guys do not get paid to help us on Fridays, but they just love St. Jude football so much that they're there to help with whatever we need. And we're very grateful for that. And then all these guys up here, these assistant coaches, take them for granted way too much. You know, they are great human beings, and you know, I think at our end of the year survey we do with with the students, each one of these guys was selected by a player who had impacted their life in some positive way off the football field, which is awesome. You know, it's not just about the football, the sport part of it, but the impact these guys are able to make, the relationships they're able to build with your sons goes a long way, and it's something that makes this thing special. We'll talk about that more a little later on. And then I would be missed if I didn't thank their wives and their children. You know, the amount of time they spend away from their kids to spend it with theirs is, it's a hard thing to do. I think I took that for granted before I was married, before I had children. Now I started understanding the sacrifice that it is. And you know, some of these guys that have like 20 kids is a lot. So I appreciate these guys and their families. And last, the parents. You guys make sacrifices, so many sacrifices for these guys. Without you all, it would not be possible. You know, our district is huge in terms of boundaries. We know it's not hard, we know it's not easy, nor is it fun to get your kids here at 5:30 on a summer day when you got to get to work, but you managed to do that, and we thank you for that. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about why we feel that sacrifice is important. So like I said, I'm going to kick it over to Coach Schwint. He's going to talk about the JV group. But before I do that, I kind of wanted to highlight or talk about the difference this season and the JV season this year compared to what it has been. You know, after reading some of the parent surveys, the past few years, it always seems to be one of the harder issues that we try to navigate. You know, it's one, freshman teams aren't really a thing anymore. We had one opportunity for a freshman game, and that week we were down like 3 or 4 guys due to injury, and we just couldn't make it work. So we made it a JV game, a true JV game, and you know, we go back and forth each and every week, really hard, determining who needs to play and why it's important. You know, we understand the importance of young guys getting their opportunity, but you know, the past few years we've had a lot of juniors that didn't get enough reps. So coming into the season, we tried to make a change, and we did that, and you know, I think we got a lot of benefits out of that. There's 3 players that come to my mind. I'm sure there's countless others. You know, Drake Myers, a kid that came into the year, really didn't have a position, struggled. We struggled as coaches trying to find the best fit for him, and really once the season started, didn't have a place. But we were able to throw him into JV games, and he found a niche at linebacker. And you know, one game he had like 12 tackles. Okay, let's try him again the next week, and he had like 15. And then we thought, okay, maybe he can do this at a varsity level. I'm sure as heck he ended up being like our 3rd leading tackler with only playing like 7 games at linebacker. So it's important for those kids to get reps to help them hone their skills. More importantly, find a role for them. Cameron Boat's another guy that did that. You know, during the summer, he was kind of our 3rd, 4th string running back, and we weren't getting that far down the depth chart on Friday night, so we started letting him play some Monday games, and you literally couldn't stop it. Like, he was fast, and we continued to struggle to find ways to get him on fields on Friday nights, but he continued to produce on Mondays. So Coach Bosler got very creative, created a whole new package, and literally we felt like Cam was the reason we were in that first competition with Park Hills, and it was a translation from Monday night to Friday night, and it's important. You know, we try these new things in new directions, and sometimes they work, and some people are left in the cold, and I understand that, but you know, that's something we juggle with every day. And at the end of the day, we just try to make the best decisions we feel for the program. with keeping everybody else in mind. So just want to kind of explain why we went a little more junior heavy this year, and hopefully we are able to give those younger guys a little bit more chance. Hopefully we get some more numbers, and hopefully we can find some younger games with true freshmen for the following year. So with that, I'll kick it over to Coach Flint. He's going to talk about the JVC.
First of all, I hate going this early because that leaves me vulnerable to getting made fun of after this. So luckily, Coach Nix, I didn't realize you were getting so old and senile. That is not my brother. That is the coach I've coached with for the past however many years. So first of all, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here so that we can celebrate all the hard work all these young men and women have done throughout the summer and school year thus far. Usually I just talk about my boys, but cheerleaders, one last air fist bump. That was our thing. It always gets said, and I guess I never really think about it as much, but the Emeralds and cheerleaders, it's always, they don't have a record. You guys are a part of it too, so, I mean, you're at all the games we're at. Parents, everybody, I hope you feel like you won all those games with us, because, I mean, that's how I feel, so. I also wanted to thank the wives and kids. It's always interesting to see how my kids react. I have 4, not 20, but I have 4 of them. It feels like 20 sometimes. But when the season's over, it's like 2 of them are cheering, 2 of them are super sad that we didn't win. But it's every Saturday morning, they just care if I saw Coach Bosler and Mrs. Kirchner. So, like, they don't care how the football. Did you see Coach? Did you see Mrs. Kirchner? I'm like, yes, I saw them there. So thank you to them. Coach Pope, if you don't know, is going to be adding another member to the team here shortly. So keep him in your prayers the next few months, if not forever. Thanks again to all the parents for raising such good men. Teaching them responsibility and being held accountable for something is our main goal also. So thank you for having them with us. Again, thanks for everybody who provided the meals. I wish I could say I lost weight during football season, but that is not the case. I ate way too many of those cupcakes, so maybe cut down on those next year for my sake. Lastly, coaches and players, thanks for just allowing me to be a part of something to go to that I really love after school every day. So thank you for that. Now, I'd just like everybody who played in any JV game to come up here right now. I'm not going to do anything. Nobody has anybody. Bring it down, boys. Bring it down. Keep going. All right, we good? All right, so this season was a fun one, tense at times. Sorry to all the parents who had to see me get ridiculous. I get a little eccentric. Coach Rapp tries to calm that down a little bit. So these guys ended up 4-4. I say that every season I have coached in a binder in my room. And this one, I'm always, it's going to be marked with an asterisk because Cam Vogt scored a 70-yard touchdown against Perryville that got called back, and it's without a doubt was inbounds the whole time. Like, you can see it on Huddle, and you can't normally see those things on Huddle. So, asterisk 5-3. just so you know, we lost that game 8-14, so that touchdown was a big one. Our JV squad battled against the Saxony Lutheran varsity team, who went undefeated, and we lost to them by 5, so that was pretty good. They played 9 through 12, so we played right there with them and gave them everything they could handle. So these guys were just, with all that being said, these guys were just a few moments away from having a 6-2 season. And one of those losses coming in a game we picked up. So I think I've had many discussions with Dr. Nix about making sure the young squad gets 8 games at all possible. And sometimes you pick up a game and you get your butt whooped, but it's better to play than to not play. So Dr. Nix, thanks for always doing that, for sending emails last minute sometimes, but you always do the best you can to get a full schedule for us, so I really do appreciate that. This group contains a ton of great young men, and I was super happy to come and work with them every day. It's going to be fun to see you guys grow and improve. If you work hard, you guys can work to be starters somewhere on varsity this coming year. Coach Pope already hit on this, but I have it written, and if I go off script, I'm going to be like anchor man up here, not knowing what to say. So, freshmen and freshman parents, I do want to apologize. We aren't able to send out a freshman team so that more kids can see the field. But since COVID, it has been hard to get other schools to put together freshman teams, and sometimes us as well, and to get enough games to do that. Many of you would start on a freshman team. I've been a freshman or JV coach for 13 years. I know a lot of you guys would be starters on a freshman team. You just have some of those older guys ahead of you right now. Please stick it out and stay with it, and come back, okay? We don't want to lose you guys because of that situation. To the whole group, my biggest advice is to keep asking us questions on what you all can do to improve. I usually don't like to point out individuals. I like to keep it as a team thing because that's what it's all about. That's why I love football so much. But Brandon Deck, man, there was multiple times throughout the year where you asked me questions. You did it one-on-one to me and just politely asked how you could get better and how you could see the field more. And you did a good job of working at that, and I just really appreciated how you went about that. Guys, we're here for you, and we only want to see you succeed. So if you guys have a problem or a question, you guys can always come and ask us. With all that being said, earn yourself a spot next year. It's not just going to happen for you. When you're in that spot, take pride in whatever it is. It doesn't matter if you're a long snapper, a punter, just on kickoff, just on kickoff return. I talked to the other coaches about this before the banquet started, but anybody who was at that Park Hills game, there's not anybody in here who would think that Jeremiah Bird recovering that kickoff against Park Hills wasn't just as important as Luke Ferrano's 95-yard touchdown. Those are the exact same importance in that game. And if that was the only thing Larry was going to do that night, that was an important one. Falk and JV, you won us a JV game by recovering 2 onside kicks against Perryville, or against Fredericktown. And then did the finger wag with me. That was awesome. They shouldn't have came at you, Falk. Dunsey and Fly, you guys got us out of bad situations many times just by having a good punt. Every solo tackle Drake Meyer made on kickoff saved us gosh knows how many yards. So you all can have a spot somewhere, whether it's being one of the starters or working hard every day like Ian Cairns and Cole Brace do, making those starters better, and working hard at practice. So whatever your role is, take pride in that role. Take pride in whatever you do. We will help you get wherever you need to go and wherever you want to go. Good luck in all your sports. And if you aren't playing anything, please find us. We'll be in the weight room and on the field in the off season. Thank you.
All right, talking about the varsity season, you know, what's your picture, Cody Schmidt? You know, we're in a weird cycle where we're a week behind with Misha every so many years. The start of the year gets pushed a week back, and you know, I think this is the first time in a really long time where we have our last game on Friday and have to turn around on Monday and kind of talk about the season. And I don't think I'm quite there yet. I don't think it's processed. I don't think there's been enough time to discuss, you know, this particular season and everything that it entails. There's a lot of good stuff in there. You know, I don't really consider the season over until I go back and watch the last film. And that's kind of when I bury it, you know, mentally bury it. I always feel like this is kind of the celebration of life and funeral, because at the end of every season it's you got to grieve it. Whether you're 0-10 or 15-0, you grieve it because you lose something. Even if you didn't lose a game, you're losing stuff. You're losing people, relationships. So I think instead of discussing the season, I kind of want to discuss some of the lessons we try to give these guys throughout the season, because I feel it's important to revisit that, you know, everybody up here is a competitor. When I play my nephew in checkers, I cheat because I hate to lose. But there's a lot of things about high school sports that are important and that don't involve the scoreboard. And you guys have heard a lot of these lessons through pregame speeches, but I just wanted to hit home, you know, one more time the importance of this deal and why we feel it's important and why we feel high school football matters. The first thing is that it's hard. It's really, really hard. Everything about football is hard. Everything about football is a test. And just when you think you got all the answers, you got it figured out, it knocks you down, man. Then it gives you two options: to lay there, to start yourself, or get back up. And it's hard. And as parents, I'm starting to realize this. As my daughter gets older, it's hard to let our children go through hard things. It is. I'm starting to find that out. I can't imagine what it's like to watch your son fail in front of thousands of people. I can't imagine that. But it matters. It's important for that to happen. During the season, I have really bad insomnia and I don't sleep a lot, so my go-to is the Nature Channel. These guys, I've given 1,000 speeches about random animals, thanks to my insomnia. Kangaroo is probably the favorite. But I was watching one the other night about insects, and it was talking about, I don't even know where it was at, but a certain caterpillar that goes into its cocoon and it turns into a butterfly. But the thing that they said blew me away, because it really made me think of the importance of doing hard things in our lives, whether it's football or anything else. It talked about if you watch a caterpillar try to escape its cocoon as it's turning into a butterfly, if you open that up and try to help it out, that butterfly will never fly. It will never fly. Because it's that struggle to escape the challenge of the cocoon is what builds its wing strength up. You know, it takes that struggle for it to get the strength to be able to fly. And if we step in and make things easier, you know, that butterfly's never going to fly and it's going to be easy prey. And I felt that was a direct, you know, there's a correlation between our kids every day, and if we step in too early when things get hard, they're never going to be able to take flight, man. So thank you for allowing your kids to play a really hard sport. Thank you for, you know, being graceful with us while we, you know, maybe appear to didn't, give them what they needed at times. But like I said earlier, every person up here has done their best with what they thought was for the best interest of every student in the program, even if at times it didn't appear that way. So thank you for choosing to do a hard thing by playing football. Another reason it's important is because it's one of the last rites of passages boys in our society at this time in America, that's their last rite of passage. There's very, very few things left that a young man can take on, or sorry, a young boy can take on in an attempt to demonstrate skills that he is a man. And again, a lot of that is being hard, a lot of that is being tested, a lot of that is getting knocked down and making the choice to get back up or not. So thank you for choosing to do this sport. Thank you for doing those things. Thank you for allowing your son to do those things. Because again, I know it's not easy, but it's important. You know, I think I don't know who said it, but every boy at some point in their life asks the same question, and it's am I capable? Am I powerful? Do I have what it takes to be a man? And if you don't expose yourself to challenges that reveal that, you could wake up at 40 years old and still be a boy at heart. So the challenges this thing produces is one of the few opportunities we have left for boys to figure that out. Do I have what it takes? How do I stack up to the guy across town? How do I stack up to a guy from another county? Do I have the characteristics and the strengths and all these skill sets to be a man? And we feel that's important. And the last thing about it is it mirrors life. It mirrors life. Football is there's wrestling probably close, but football mirrors life. You start the season, it's into spring when you start lifting, and you go through all the seasons, just like you do in life. You know, you're full of hope in the spring. Summer's full of fun and hard work. Autumn gets here, and you get to cash in some checks with some wins, and then you get into November time, and you're just fighting to stay alive. And through all that, there's ups and downs. There's storms, man. We play through hurricanes, and you're going to have storms in your life, and you're going to get out to a game when it's not supposed to storm, and it's going to storm. And just when you think you're at your lowest, you lose in 3 overtimes, have your heart ripped out. You realize there's more room to fall, but then you get back up. People pull you back up. Your brothers pull you up. You learn to love people. You learn to love each other. You learn to fight for others, and you learn to become selfless instead of selfish. And I really feel this group did a fantastic job of that, especially the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season. That Caruthersville game. It was hard not to be proud of kids for their effort, for everything they continue to fight. We didn't get a single break that game. The ball slips out here, we drop a pass there, everything just felt to snowball against us that entire night, but these guys didn't quit. And if we're proud of anything, it was their resilience down the stretch. So and again, the final message that I gave them on Friday is sums that up. It's that the loss we had at Dexter isn't the last loss that any of us are going to feel in our lives, but at least we got to go through that loss with our brothers, and those guys next to us are going to be there through the other losses in our life. We're all going to lose people, we're going to lose relationships, we're going to lose things, and the way you get through those times is the guy next to you, is your brother, it's the guys you built relationships with. They're going to be there for your bad days to pick you up, but the good thing about it is they're also going to be there for your best days, and if we did our job, you guys will be in each other's way. You're going to be God, fathers to each other's children, and you're going to be there for the really good days that you have ahead of you too. So that's my take on the season. There was a lot of funnier speeches in between there that a little more humor involved. I don't have any mustard with me to throw at Jacob Schreiber, but we felt like it was overall that we met our goals this year, especially after that. I remember getting home off the bus after the St. Vincent game and just sitting in the coach's office with Coach Ross till about 3 a.m. just staring at the wall, so I didn't know what the heck. What we're gonna do, But through the effort of these guys, through the effort of all these guys up here, through the effort of everyone in this room, we somehow went from, the world's falling to 1 or 2 plays away from the district title, and nobody gave us a freaking chance. If you're not in this room, nobody gave us a chance. And for about 30 minutes, we felt like it was ours. And I don't know whose hope it is, but the best thing you can have in life is hope. So you guys gave a lot of people a lot of hope, and you continue to give me hope. So we thank you for that. All right, so now we're going to talk about the varsity letter winners. So again, we're 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever, after the end of the season. I haven't been able to go through and actually look at everybody's quarters. So if I've screwed this up, if you qualify for a varsity letter, it's my fault. I just haven't had the time to go through and check everything. So to qualify for a varsity football letter, this has been the same standard for many years. I truly believe that we need continuity from each time period. When Jared Wolf was playing football, it should mean the same thing with his son. If you're a letter winner, you should have to achieve the same goals, achieve the same standards. So that standard has been the football player plays at least 10 quarters of varsity football to earn that letter. Any player who plays 7 quarters and varsity letters the next year will receive a provisional letter and will receive a varsity letter for this year. So if you played 7 quarters or more, and you do not get a provisional letter tonight or a varsity letter, please let me know because I screwed it up, and I will make sure you get it. Just one little detail, special teams for a full game, so if you play 4 quarters of special teams, it still only counts as 1 quarter. That's the media rule. So if you played each quarter as a special teamer, that's still only 1 quarter. So go ahead and name these guys off. Go ahead and come on up so we can recognize and give you a round of applause. So Ethan Ottens, Justin Schweigert, Talon Kinkley, Brody Winters, Wyatt Grimes, Owen Roth, Mason Trollinger, Luke Morano, Devin Fly, Chris Castorena, Cameron Boat, Alex Bosler, Trent Weber, Charlie Corbett, Justin Slinkard, Isaiah Bosler, Drake Meyer, Ian Cairns, Cole Brace, Johnny Bird, Micah Shear, Jeff Wybrick, Eli Bennett, Larry Bird, Sawyer Bowman, Brandon Daves, Caden Manning, Avery Dibble, John Finley, Grant Wolf, Nolan Hook, Jacob Schweigert, Drew Merriman, Jake Warren, Madden Wolf, Paul Taylor. And then we had 3 managers, Carter Hogemiller, Caden Woody, and Nick Warren. These are your Alright, so we're going to go in numerical order. Seniors, real quick, usually we do the helmets for you guys. I talked to several of you guys, several of you just want to buy the helmet you have. A couple of you guys have your own helmets, so instead of spending all day getting those ready, if you want one of those helmets, let me know and I'll make sure you get it by the end of the week. Cool with that? Good with that? Okay, so first up, we're going to have Devin Fly, talked about by Coach Swint.
I was going to say nice things. Devin Fly. Here's the rough stats. 640 yards, 39 receptions, 7 TDs. That's what the stats say, so solid year. But what the stats don't show you is the amount this guy has grown as a man this season. I'm going to let you guys know in on some things that usually I don't share, but I thought it was important to tell Devin's whole story. Devin wasn't too thrilled about how the homecoming game was going offensively for him. And he let me know that, and I blamed everything on Coach Bosler, per usual. He saw a lot of things wide open, and none of us were disagreeing with him, but sometimes the game's going in a certain way, and we had full control of it, and sometimes you don't want to put the ball in the air. However, with all that being said, The following week, as a team, we had a discussion on like why all of us are doing this. Why are we here? Are we here for stats? Are we here to score a few touchdowns? And I felt out of the whole team moving from that conversation, it affected Devin the most. I could see it every time he blocked. I could see it in practice. The kid came to Devin and I, you guys, nobody in this room probably knows how close Devin and I are, but he came to my room every morning, said good morning. Like, you could just tell the whole thing meant a lot more to him, and he didn't want it to end. And that meant a lot to me, to see that. I talked about, see, I did it, I ran off script, and now I'm lost. I talked earlier about Luke's long run at Park Hills. That doesn't happen if the wide receiver on the outside isn't blocking his butt off. And line, I'm not leaving you out, I love you guys too. But it's not a touchdown if Devin doesn't block. And that's the case for a lot of things. I'm mainly the wide receiver guy, so I'm gonna talk about Chris too. But we talk about that all the time, like a wide receiver blocking is the difference between a big play and a touchdown. And I try to tell them all, you know, when somebody scores, we all score. It doesn't matter who has the ball in their hands. So I think everybody on that field felt like we all scored that night when that touchdown happened. So Devin, thank you for being unselfish. Try to find where I'm at. Devin. It's hard being the little brother sometimes when your older brother has so much success. But I'll never forget Devin as a sophomore locking down a wide receiver who plays at Purdue now. I'll also never forget Caden and Devin celebrating that game, and Devin maybe hanging his head a couple times, and Caden coming over and, hey bro, we need this, we need you. Those are the things that I will never forget. I'll never forget the Schweiger boys playing together. You know, if Justin doesn't drop a touchdown, maybe that would have been a cooler moment, but but those connections, Caden and Devin, and just the brotherly bond that football creates. I hope I can see that and share that with my own two boys who are great apart someday. Devin, you've made us all so proud in how you've grown as an athlete and as a man. Thank you for making my job as a wide receiver coach super, super easy with how athletically gifted you are. And your drive does not go unnoticed. It's pretty awesome to have a player when you ask him to do something, if he puts his mind to it, he can do it, no question. So, buddy, good luck in basketball and in track. I know you'll keep crushing it in every single thing you do. Love you. All right, next one, Chris Castorina. El Chupacabra. I like to say I do the best I can to connect with all the players, but some I just connect with more than others, and Chris is one of those dudes. No stat sheet can measure the grit that this kid has, not only as a football player, but also as an individual. Chris is just a pure competitor, and I think that's what drew me so close to him. I'm the same way, sometimes to my detriment. There are only 5 of these seniors that have been with us the whole entire time. I'm so thankful for all the additions that we collected throughout the time. But the OGs of Chris, Chuck, Drew, Jacob, and Devin, we've been through a lot together. So, unfortunately, I'll never forget that Fredericktown game, but I try my best. I try my best, boys. That was a tough one. It hasn't been easy, but I've always told you guys how it's pretty unfair. Your class let you guys kind of out to dry at times, and more numbers would have helped. Chris is one of those dudes, kind of like what Coach Pope was talking about earlier. Like if Chris gets more playing time last year, I believe that truly would have helped him even more this year. And that's just a bad circumstance that happens. But Chris, you know how to get through everything, because those bad circumstances have been put in your life, and you always just keep battling. And that's something I really admire about you. That's something that you have over me. And you always will. And I know it's going to make you a super tough individual. And anything that comes your way in life, you're going to get through it, because you always have and you always will. I've loved every second of coaching you, and I hope you know I'm always here for you. Love you.
Our next senior tonight is number 18, Charlie Corbett. Charlie accounted for 33 tackles this season, 14 were solo and 19 assists. He had 2 interceptions and 1 fumble recovery. Charlie's one of the 5 seniors who have committed to the St. John football program for the past 4 years. He has a strong passion for St. John football and has worked hard to better himself and our team with every chance that he could. He's extremely knowledgeable of the sport and someone I enjoy having football conversations with any chance I can. Outside of whenever he talks about the Chiefs, of course. But from playing QB in his early high school career, rotating around between safety and outside linebacker towards the end of his career, Charlie remained dedicated towards St. John football. One of my favorite characteristics about Corbett is he's always willing to take on any leadership role that we give him, not only in our high school, but in our football program. He's always looking for ways to improve something, and our program is indeed one of those things. Younger classmen have a really great role model here to look up to with Charlie. He went from being a pretty tiny freshman to dedicating himself to our program in the weight room and everything that us coaches are trying to establish here at St. John. He shows what it takes to be a successful young man on the gridiron and in the classroom. I'm going to miss watching Charlie be a leader in our football program in our school. No doubt our program has become a better organization because of his presence. Thank you, Corbett, for the 4 great years of St. John football. I'm going to miss you, and I look forward to seeing all your successes in the future. Love you, buddy.
Our next senior is Isaiah Balzan. So I've been pretty fortunate enough to coach Isaiah for the last 3 years in football and also a couple years in baseball. Over those years, there's one main thing that I've learned about Isaiah, and that's he's one heck of a competitive kid. And he absolutely hates to lose, and I think that's one of the things that I love about him. He leaves his emotions on his sleeve, and I think he can say the same about that. And I think it's just because it's so special to him. Isaiah's competitive nature will benefit him as he goes through life because he's willing to put in the hard work and do whatever it takes to be successful. Losing Isaiah is going to be tough, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I'm an offensive guy, so he's also played some offense for us this year and also in the past. But defensively, he's been a 2-year starter there and has kind of been our leader on defense in the back end of things. And he's always there making plays and making tackles. He's not the biggest kid, obviously, but he's willing to stick his nose in there and make a tackle for us. On offense, he was kind of that guy that was kind of a utility player for us. If somebody went down, he was always that next guy in. And it happened Friday when he got hurt. Isaiah just kind of hopped in there, and he did a great job doing, not having that much practice in that spot, but he did a great job there. He's the type of kid that if we ask him to do something, he's going to do it. He's a great teammate, a leader, a motivator over the years, and has made a positive impact for this program. I just want to say thank you for everything that you've given this program and for being a great leader to the underclassmen. We're proud of you for all your accomplishments, and I know you'll carry the lessons you've learned from this sport and from your teammates with you as you move forward. I'm excited to see what the future has for you, and I wish you the best of luck, man. Love you.
Jacob Schweiger, come on up there, guy. Hot son? Now leave your shirt on in here. Defensively, Jacob had 55 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble. Did you have a fumble recovery against Exeter? Didn't you get that one? Yeah. Fix that, Coach Pope. Offensively, I had to go through this today. I helped Coach Pope because he's going to need these down the road. We played 12 games. I was pretty strict. Jacob had 82 knockdown blocks. That's 7 times a game he knocked another human off their feet. This is an overall football stat. I don't know if it's offense or defense. 1 broken helmet this year. 2 broken helmets this year. So I don't know if that's an offense or defense. Last year, Jacob was All-State offensive line. This year, if he does not get All-State offensive line, then Coach Pope will probably not be employed here next year because he's probably going to get in the fight. He deserves to be Offensive Lineman of the Year in our conference. He better get that as well. I'm going to get in the fight. First time I saw Jake, I don't know why I remember this, one of those things you randomly think of in your life. I was out on the field with Coach Weiler. Coach Weiler retired like 9 years ago. But Coach Weiler gave me the old, that was pretty good over there, Coach. And those of you guys that know Coach Weiler, you get the Coach Weiler chicken wing, you're like, I better get pretty excited about this. Well, Coach Weiler was right. George stud. He's been a 3-year starter. Many of those games in between there, he was starting 2 ways. I think he saw some action as a freshman, played a little D-line as a freshman. So he was on to something. Tremendous work ethic in the weight room. I don't have the numbers memorized, but roughly 550 on your squat. Over 500-pound deadlifter, about 315, 320 on bench. You guys want to be an all-state lineman? Have a 1,400-poundish 3-lift total. You're probably going to be pretty good. Work ethic carries over from the weight room to the field. Just an overall great team leader. Coach Rapp and I, if we were 30 seconds late, he'd have the lineman rolling. Whatever we were getting started on that day, he'd have them rolling. Great leader, great example for the young guys. Young guys, I think they fall into line because they're like, well, I want to be like him. So, just great example for them. Somehow I forgot this one. I don't know, I have to go back here. 0 for 1 passing. 0 for 1. What I picture is like just going back in a movie. Schweiger, not really a quarterback's build. That's like a 7-year-old. Justin, go deep. We're going to hit this in a varsity game someday. And Justin's like, no. Like, you're really going to win. Jacob's like, we are, I promise. And Coach Swint draws up the perfect play. Jacob drops a dot. Justin gets excited. It's more than he can handle. It's all right. That was fun. I don't like saying somebody's the best. All right, I don't think that's fair to other people. Michael Jordan's the best, he's better than LeBron. But I don't like when people say about me. So I'm not going to call anyone the best because I don't think that's fair to people that I didn't coach. I will say nobody's done it better since I've been here. The amount of stress that was put on him and our offense was unlike anything I've been a part of in 20 years. It would have probably been very easy to scout us because you probably just had to say, watch number 63, he's going to take you to the play. You guys that came to a lot of our games this year, we ran counter right a lot because he was pulling. So I don't think anybody's had as much stress as an offensive lineman than Jacob had. So I don't want to say he's the best, but I want to say nobody's done it better than he since I've been here. Ironically, as Coach Schwint pointed out, we've had a ton of problems running counter against Park Hills for the last 10 years. And we ran counter right a lot this year, and Luke's 95-yarder was on counter right. So I don't know, maybe we should have been running left.
Oh, put your hands.
I'll just close with this. Obviously, every team would be better if they had more Jake Schweigers, and you guys would go, yeah, he's the whole state lineman. And I'm not saying that because of football. I'm saying that more because of the person he is. All right? He's a really great person, and he's a better person than he is a football player. So we need more people like you, Jacob. We appreciate you, and you're going to be awesome in life, buddy.
The senior I'll be talking about is Johnny Bird. If you want to come on up, Johnny. Johnny Bird decided to come out for football for the first time during his senior year here at St. Genevieve. Johnny played cornerback for the varsity team. This made me his position coach. I got to spend countless days working with Johnny. Football is one of those sports that when it starts in June and July, the average temperature outside is 90 degrees, right? So, now ending in mid-November and, could be December, you're ending with Friday night games around 40 degrees. So, I think that really puts it in perspective as far as how long we're here and how long we're putting in the work. For this reason, it takes a lot of things to make it through a football season. A couple of those things are grit and resilience. Johnny displayed these things for me on a weekly manner. The next part of this I highlighted because I really feel like it's the most important piece in here, and that's that my favorite thing about coaching Johnny was the absence of entitlement that he brought to the football field. Johnny represents what it means to be green in this town. Nothing was ever going to be given to Johnny. I have no reason to believe nothing is going to be given to any of you guys. But he earned everything. And I knew for a guy like Johnny, he wasn't going to complain about that because he wasn't going to take it any other way. He was never going to allow you to give him something that he has not earned. I do not believe Johnny would have wanted it any other way again. And during our first week of playoffs, Johnny's hard work earned him a significant amount of playing time against the Herculaneum Black Cats. I really had a strong sense of pride up in the box with Coach Balzer getting to watch Johnny go out and play because there was just so many plays that he made where I was able to say, hey, that's not something Johnny was doing in June. That's not something that Johnny was doing in July. So you really got to see his growth and his progression throughout the entire season. He stuck it through with us all the way. Didn't matter if he was making our starters better, if he was rotating on defense, or if he was flying down, making a tackle on kickoff. If you needed number 24, he was going to be there and he's going to be ready to go. I had a lot of admiration for how Johnny played during that Black Cat football game, how he carried himself through the season, and I have a lot of admiration for just the consistent effort that he brought. I really, really appreciated coaching you, Johnny. I thank you so much. I think you're a great mentor. to the rest of the young guys, and you bleed green to me forever, dude. So thank you very much.
Avery, come on up. Everybody get a good look at this, because I'm going to be talking about that smile here in a second. And by the way, thanks to the JV parents, to go off of what Cody said, we really appreciate it. The moms that made the meals before, don't give up doing the cupcakes just because she wants a little worried. Those are really good. Avery doesn't like me talking about it, but he is a prime example of a young man who I wish would have played all 4 years for us. And by me saying that, it has more to do with who Avery is and less to do with his ability. I worked pretty hard on Avery last spring to have him give a try at football, and after he told me he was going to, I still wasn't sure until I saw him there at summer weights. Not only did he show up, he showed out. Avery brought a work ethic that was hard to match on the field and in the weight room, but more importantly, he brought his personality. The kid has a smile that goes on for days. Do it. You know you want to. There were times in games when you start feeling the squeeze a bit, and Avery was ready with a smile and said, you know, I know, coach, or I got it. And that meant the world to me. And when he said he would take care of it, he meant it. Avery finished the year with an official amount of 30 tackles, 25 assists, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 forced fumble. Not bad for a kid that hadn't played football since middle school. Those are really good stats for a defensive tackle, a position that is driven by unselfish play. He did everything I ever asked of him as a coach and always went beyond my expectations. Avery, I'm truly going to miss coaching next year. I cannot wait to see the successes I know you will have later on in life, because the effort you put in for us and your team shows that you will have no problem navigating life after high school. I know I speak for the rest of the coaching staff, players, and more important, your fellow linemen. Thank you for everything you did for the St. Genevieve football program this past summer and fall. You'll be greatly missed.
Our next senior that's here tonight is number 70, Drew Merriman. Drew had 14 tackles, 5 were solo, 9 assists, and 1 tackle for loss. You can throw any numbers stat-wise out there for Drew, and they just really wouldn't justify the kind of team player that he's been for the St. Genevieve football program. Anytime we needed a scout team body, special team body, it didn't matter. Number 70 was one of the first ones that was going to rush out there and try to be a leader for the program. He too is one of the 5 seniors that committed to playing football throughout their high school career. Drew is committed to improving himself by being a multi-sport athlete for our school as well. He's shown great improvement and never complained as far as we know about any of the workouts or conditioning that he had to do to make himself better. Drew bounced around on the defensive side of the football from inside linebacker to the defensive tackle. On the offensive side of the ball, he was a backup lineman and was consistent with knowing his assignment whenever his number was called. He was always someone who would do what was best in the interest of the team, and that goes kind of unnoticed by most of today's world. He was always putting himself or the team first before himself and what those matters entailed. It didn't matter where we asked Drew to play or when, he would jump in and figure out how to make something work. A true team player. He's an incredibly coachable kid who we as a coaching staff have a high level of respect for. Drew's commitment and dedication towards our program will be significantly missed. Thank you for a great 4 years of football, Drew. Our program is better because of young men like you. I'm going to miss coaching you, but we'll be happy to see you move on to your next future endeavors. Love you, buddy.
All right, our last senior is Brandon Daves. I don't know if he's here or not. Brandon, you here? All right, that's bad. I'm still going to talk about Brandon. I'll shorten it up a little bit, but I remember our first day back at school this year in our high school faculty meeting. Dr. Boyd and Mr. Snable handed every teacher this card. okay? It's a blown-up Monopoly card that says chance, and it says, take a chance. Stop being afraid of what could go wrong, and start being positive about what could go right. The reason I share that is because during our Fredericktown homecoming game, so, you know, the game went really, really well. And, you know, we were getting to the fourth quarter, the clock was running, and, you know, we were worried as a staff about getting every single player in. And, you know, we're talking on the headsets, okay, who still needs in, who still needs in? And I turned around and I saw Brandon. I said, shoot, we still got to get B-Dog in. How are we going to get him in? How are we going to get him in? And the clock was running. And Fredericktown had a punt. So I'm a very stats-oriented person. I spent a lot of time looking at numbers. I knew the kid from Fredericktown. Average punt was 25.7 yards. They were after 25, so I told Brandon, go to our 20. So it's literally like 60-something yards. I said, whatever you do, Brandon, just have fun. And the reason I did this is because Mr. Snable told me to hang this behind my desk, and I thought about this card when I told Brandon that. What I should have said is, Brandon, whatever you do, don't pick up the ball. But, for whatever reason, instead of kicking it 25.7 yards, the Fredericktown kid put it like 38, and of course it got a magical bounce. And of course, Brandon had a hearing aid off and he didn't listen to a word I said. And Brandon took the chance and ran up and grabbed it. And I can still hear Mr. Banks' call on the broadcast, oh my God. I remember thinking, holy cow, I need to go talk to Dr. Boyd, see if there's a get out of jail free card that comes with this, because I just killed a kid. Literally killed a kid. But his reaction to that perfectly sums up what this means. You know, I think all of us started to panic and walk out there because I didn't know what happened. And before I could step foot onto the field, he was up pumping up the crowd. One of the most memorable football moments that stick out in my mind, and I've been doing this a long time, and that one's at the top. And it's a great reminder of no matter, you know, every person you come across in life, every single person that crosses your path in your journey can teach you something, can provide value to your life, can give you a lesson. And I think that moment, Brandon gave us a lesson, and that was, again, driving home, take a chance, but more importantly, be fearless. Be fearless. It doesn't matter your situation, it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter who you are. If you wake up every day and make the choice to be courageous and live without fear, great things are going to happen. And I want to thank Brandon for that memory, and I think that's one that we'll remember a lot more than some score throughout life. So greatly appreciate Brandon, greatly appreciate all the things he brought to our program this year, and we're definitely going to miss him. I don't know how many people get a chance to talk to him, but that dude, he knows so much about the NFL. Like, if there's ever some TV show with NFL facts, take him. Like, he's your dude. He's super smart. It's crazy. And we're going to miss having the little conversations on the bus ride home. So thank you, Brandon. Give him a round of applause, even though he's not Okay, so we're going to move on to our awards, and we'll get everybody out of here. We kind of do this a little differently this year. We're going to kind of start with so we've got the 4 awards, Hog of the Year, Goon of the Year, Scout Team Player of the Year, and then our Andrew Marzuko Loyal and True Award. So the way I wanted to do it this year was kind of start with the no-brainers and kind of build up to the really tough choices that we had to make for who these award winners were. So starting with Hog of the Year, I mean, I don't even got to say the name, I think it's pretty. Let's go, Jerry. very clear-cut Jacob Schweiger. Again, like Coach Terry said, you know, it's hard to compare Jake in today's game to some of our Hall of Famers that grace the back of our press box. You know, I never got to see Mike Carroll play. I've never met the man, so it's hard to compare Jacob to him. But like Coach Terry said, since we've been here, he's done it the right way, and he's done it as good as anybody could do it. So congratulations, Jake. Goon of the Year. This is one of our more prized awards for the players. How do I try to put this out here? So, Goon is a term that another group of community members in our town refer to our players sometimes. We're not dragons, we're dragoons, because we're a bunch of goons apparently. So we spun that into a goon is really, if you look at the second definition behind a clown, a goon is really a very intimidating person. So we classify our goon as the player who invokes fear and intimidates the other team. And this year, we had a handful of those people, a handful of those students on our team, and we really went back and forth, with who really that was this year. What solidified it, I remember having a pregame speech with one of our opposing coaches, and like I said, I very in tune to who's injured for them, and that's all I watch is what they're doing before the game. And one of their best running backs, wings, wasn't dressed, and so I just asked the coach, I was like, dude, I creeped on that dude's Facebook, like I knew he was playing this week, like what's going on? Like, is he hurt at practice? You know, he's a good player. He said, Coach, yeah, I'll be honest, man. He's like, he was 99% healthy. You know, we practiced all week. He was 99% healthy. We share our film out with our opponent scout film out with our kids on Wednesday night after practice. He was 99% healthy, and then he saw 99 for the Dragons, and he didn't want to play this week. So our good of the week, with 18 tackles for losses, and he tied for third all-time in school history with sacks this season. And he's that's a newer statistic for us, so we think career-wise he'll probably be the number one by the time he graduates here. So anytime a player can force a opposing player to not suit up and play a game just by how he plays the game, you deserve to be called a Goon of the Year. All right, last two. Getting a little harder on coaches deciding who these people were. The next one is going to be the Scout Team Player of the Year. This one was really hard. So what this is, Scout Team is a player who does his best at practice each and every day, each and every week, to prepare the team for Friday nights. It's a really thankless job. I've been using this joke for 4 years. Coach Bowser was on the scout team for 4 years in high school. He never got to play varsity, but he was a scout teamer. It's a really tough job, and it's really thankless. You very, very rarely get glory for getting your butt beat at practice each and every day. It's very, very thankless. So we felt it important to talk about some of the honorable mentions. Because a lot of kids were in the running for this, and we feel it's important that your work did not go unnoticed. So the first honorable mention, again, you're not a scout team, you're honorable mention, Luke Ferrano, you know, you're a very, very good quarterback for your varsity team, and we asked him to be the scout team quarterback the majority of weeks. And, you know, his humility and grace allowed him to do those things, and he didn't place himself above the team when asked to do that. He did what he needed to do for the team. And then our second scout team quarterback was Coach Bosler. Believe it or not, he can kind of spin it. I don't know why the Cowboys haven't picked him up yet. He's better than the guy they got. Probably the height, you're right. The next two guys, Jake Warren and Caden Manning, like they were the anchors on our scout O-line all year, just getting beat up, play after play after play after play after play. And really want to thank those guys for their efforts. The next four guys are kind of in the same boat, in the same mold. Ian Cairns, Cole Brace, Drake Meyer, and Sawyer Bowman. Those four guys were consistently, anytime we called for a scout team, didn't matter. They just went out there and they found a spot. And they worked hard and they made us better each and every single day. And when you do those things, it makes us hard to keep you off the field on Friday nights. And Drake used scout team to do that. So we got down to the last two guys here, and it was a back and forth discussion. It was a hard fight for who coaches wanted for the winner. But the runner up, who did it the best for a single season was Avery Dipple. You're the runner up, buddy. You did a fantastic job. There were times where we had to tell Avery to go get a drink just to get off the field because we had to get some confidence back on offense because he was so good and kicked our butt so much at times. But the deciding factor between Avery and the award winner was the person that won this award has been doing it for over 3 years. He's grown and done every single position, I believe, on the field at some point on scout team. Anytime we're a guy short on scout team, he's the first one to sprint out there. And he's a leader for our program. He's a leader in our classrooms. He's a leader in our school. And one day he's going to be a leader in our community or another community. And this year's Scout Team Player of the Year is going to be Chuck Gordon. All right, the last one we've got, and I feel like it's the most important, just by the name of it, the Andrew Marzuko Loyal and True Award. We named this after our former manager, Andrew. Everybody in here knows him and knows what kind of person he was. So to attach his name to this award, I think, takes it up a notch of what's expected of this person and the value this person provides to not just the program, but again, to our school and our community. Essentially, this award is the senior who best represents the values of St. Jude football, the team, our school, and our community. We basically discussed every senior. We start with every single senior, and we kind of whittle it down, and we come to a few guys, and we try and make a case. We look at the whole body of work from freshman year to senior year, and this year was really tough. This year was really, really tough because we have a lot of great young men in the senior class, and a lot of them have been the most loyal and true at some point in the season. And it was really hard to decide, hey, you're better than this guy, and it's hard to do. But we felt at the end, this young man consistently did everything right. Not just this year, but for 4 single years. I went back and looked at our past attendances. I don't have a single missed practice that wasn't excused for some reason. Anytime he needed to go on contact, he did literally every single thing right from freshman year till now. And that's a long time, man. Like that all of us are human. We're going to make mistakes. And somehow this this young man did not do that. And he did everything the way we asked him to. And the deciding factor, I think, a couple weeks ago, we kind of had to change up what we were doing on defense. And I just remember on Monday, we were starting to do our walkthrough, and this young man asked, "Coach, what can I do for the team this week?" And like that's a powerful statement from a 17, 18-year-old young man, because that is a rare trait in today's world, to be that selfless, to ask what you can do for a group of people and not for yourself. This year's Andrew Mazurko Loyal and True Award is going to go to Drew Merriman.
Great job, guys. We're gonna do the banners and 50-50 and award, take pictures of award winners. Before we do that though, I was at a family reunion, over in Illinois on my wife's side, and was talking with, one of her family members, one of our uncles, and he was just making conversation, and he said, is football a big deal over in St. Genevieve? And I said, yeah, St. Genevieve's it's a pretty big deal in the town of St. Genevieve football. It's a pretty big deal. He said, you guys any good? And I said, I've been at St. Genevieve for 24 years, and in 24 years we've had 3 losing seasons. So 21 out of 24 seasons have been winning, and I know several seasons before that were winning seasons as well, leading up to when I got here. So football is a pretty big deal in this town. And he said, do you go to football games? And I said, well, in 24 years, I've missed 1 varsity football game in 24 years. So yeah, it's a big deal and it's pretty important. And I worried a little bit this year, how important it would be to me personally and how much it would mean to me having had my son graduate after being a part of the program for 4 years. But I found myself at the very first game in the very first quarter, still pacing the track, still making a puddle of spit, still screaming inappropriately at the officials when I should have been. So I was still passionate. I still absolutely loved watching every one of our football games this year, and that's part of why football is so big in this town. All right, really quick, the 50-50. I think it was 60-some odd dollars. Let me get that out. I'm going to tell you exactly what it was before I pull the winning ticket. By the way, if you were an award winner tonight, if you got a medal or a plaque, please stick around. We're going to take your picture real quick out in front of the St. Gen backdrop out here. Don't leave until we get your picture, please, okay? The winner of $60 even. If you won, please bring your ticket up with you to prove that you won. And I'll give you your $60. Ticket number is 54341-207. It's like a social security number. 54341-207. Of course, Mandy Meyer won. That was for every 50-50. All right. So Mandy, you can bring that up here in just a minute. All right. Banners. Alright, we will start with the dance banner. Since there's only 6 girls, there's not many tickets in here, so you gotta put your shot, girls. Alright, if you won the banner, grab it on your way out. If you didn't win, don't grab the banner on your way out. Alex Bosler, you won the Sorry, you can't take it. These are all Kirchner, all right.
We know who the real winner is.
All right, cheer banner. Ricky Dunn. Nice picture, I think, Coach Glenn. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, speaking of that, I was talking about the importance and the tradition of football in this town. Out of the 7 coaches that are sitting up here, 5 of them played football at St. Genevieve High School, 5 out of the 7 coaches, and the other 2 switched from the dark side to the good side. Drew Ehrman! If you want an award, stick around. If not, have a great evening. Thank you, guys.